Welcome to This Week in Our Collective Heads. I'm Patrick.
I'm Kevin.
Episode 28.
Yes.
Doing this quite a while now. Apologize for last week scheduling issues. We're back with a vengeance. Speaking of a vengeance, nothing to do with this.
No, not even a little bit.
No. I'm bad at segues. Axiom Verge is going to be coming to Xbox One and Wii U. We just were talking about this on Vita.
Right. So it's coming to Vita, it's coming to Wii U, it's coming to Xbox One. Did you see that video about the guy complaining about it not coming to Nintendo platforms?
No, I didn't.
Okay. They tweeted out a Axiom Verge is a Metroid-inspired game. We're really excited about it, but mostly we're bringing it from this guy, and it's a guy who goes on like a 5-minute rant about how this is a Metroid-inspired game. Why is it not coming to Nintendo? This is blah blah blah.
Sounds like
blah,
a
blah.
Francis rant.
Kind of. and yeah, so they posted up. We're really excited about it for everybody,
awesome.
But especially this guy.
Especially that guy. Well, I did. I was going to say, with it going to Vita and PS4, from what I've heard, is the transition from PS4 and Xbox One. You want to port from one to the other, it's so much easier than it was in previous generations. They're basically exclusive like PCs. I mean, not really it's not as unique of hardware structure as the cell processing for PS3.
Which makes things easier for devs, especially for indies. And there's
when you have someone like this who's like, when I saw it's coming out on Xbox One, it didn't surprise me. Yeah. Because I thought, okay, that's an easy transition. Wii U, awesome, I'm glad. But a little more surprising. Xbox One, I just thought, okay, that's cool.
Well, but see the thing about the whole cell processor thing, it made a lot of indies where it was just really, really difficult for them to do from one to the other. And I appreciate that both Sony and Microsoft have their own studios. And they're making their own exclusives.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you've got the Uncharted stuff. That's something that Sony's been supporting from the beginning.
Yeah.
The Gears and the Halos and the Forzas. Microsoft has poured money into that stuff.
Exactly.
But like indies, play it everywhere.
It should be.
Yeah.
I think that we're moving towards a different world when it comes to video games, where you have some exclusivity, but a lot more multiplats.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's similar to right now. If I buy a TV, I can watch ABC, NBC, whatever I want. Which would be unfortunately, these guys are still hardware manufacturers, so we're not going to go 100% like that. But if I want this style, I want this style, I want these features, I think it's going to get more. I think the next generation is going to be more of, you like integration with this or this, then go with this one.
Yeah.
But almost all your games are going to still be on.
Yeah.
I do like the unique content, like Powers. I wish we'd have more of that. Quantum Break stuff's going to be coming out.
Speaking briefly,
yeah.
Powers is only available on PlayStation Network. It's a good show with a terrible distribution platform. That came out like a year ago. That should be available everywhere. They should have pushed that out. Recommend it. The visuals, there's a lot of noticeable green screen stuff, and maybe they didn't quite have the budget that they were hoping for. But the actual story itself is awesome, and Eddie Izzard as a villain, is
I love Eddie.
Killer.
I love Eddie.
More Eddie Izzard. Just warning, you will see Izzard butt. So be prepared for that.
And don't Google it. Don't Google it. I've heard from you as well as a couple other people.
Yes, there's a really big spoiler that they're like, hey, surely everybody's seen this thing that just came out on Play. No, don't talk about the spoiler. So like the third or fourth result for a particular character is like, hey, and it's like the biggest thing that you could put on there, and I was not happy about that. So if you want to watch it, just sit down and watch it. Yeah. But don't Google it.
I mean, we're in an era where we can stream and binge watch everything.
Yeah.
Daredevil 2 season 2 just aired. And kid you not, Friday evening there was a video that someone came out with. It's the Daredevil season 2 review. So this person stayed up all night, watched every episode, recorded their views on the series, and then put out that evening.
Well, it's also a really weird situation. When can you talk about this stuff openly? Because like with Game of Thrones, you can be like, hey, are you caught up?
Are you caught up? Yeah.
Yeah, and I like being able to have the conversation mid-season. Like there's some stuff that's happened I'm like halfway through season 2 of Daredevil.
Yeah. You have
There's
to say,
some
how
cool stuff.
far are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd be like, where's Frank? What's he doing? Okay, then let's talk about this.
Yeah.
Thing. And it's a really weird thing.
Talking about multi-platforms and it going to a more homogenous kind of state where different can be played on everything. Xbox and Microsoft recently said that they basically wanted to be able to play play online games cross-platform.
Yes, what they've done is they've opened up the code where and they've said this is on the developers. The developers can put this into their game where you can talk back and forth between various systems, and it's an open system where we will allow other people's player base to come into ours. And Rocket League is going to be playing with the PC people. I know that the PlayStation can play with the PC people, the Xbox can play with the PC people, but
Xbox and PS4 still can play together.
Yeah, I still feel like they're different, and Sony's come out. They haven't actually said, hey, we work with PC and we look at other platforms and we like to talk to them, and there are other people doing neat things. And I think that it's entirely possible that this just caught them completely off guard, and they don't know yet what they're going to do with it.
I think it did. I think that I think it's an amazingly just kind of pie in the sky idea, but at the same time, it's one that's so close to us. It's exactly what we want. If I buy a game on PS4, let's say you only have an Xbox One, and your friend has a PS4, and you both decide, okay, I want to play the new Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Well, you can't play together. But hopefully, what this is opening up to is in the future, you can play together.
Yes, but.
Yeah.
And the thing is that PlayStation and Xbox have invested more money than I will ever see in building their servers and creating these communities. And if an Xbox One player connects to a PS4 player and has a negative experience because of the PlayStation Network, the player A is not going to blame Xbox, or is not going to blame PlayStation. He's going to blame Xbox. And so Xbox and PlayStation both need to be able to come forward and say, okay, your experience will be excellent.
Yes.
Because if a player's experience is not excellent, you're going to blame the dev or the hardware manufacturer for this.
Exactly. The standards have to be high enough where you don't run into those kind of issues, and if you do, it's a very clear reason. Blame can be, set for.
Yeah, and on top of that, it's not quite conspiracy level stuff, but like this is a good move for Microsoft to make.
Yeah. Because
they are the underdog right now, to come forward and say, we're willing to play nice. And PlayStation doesn't really have the impetus is not on PlayStation to make this happen.
Yeah.
So for them to come out and say, yep, that sounds cool, is probably about all we could expect.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. I really don't think we're going to see anything big on this for at least a year.
At least.
And they're so we don't know what's going to happen with it, but this is something that they came out and said,
and hopefully with patching, the way that the systems work nowadays, hopefully with patching they can go back if they have games that really have a high player base, Destiny and others, that they say, okay, we want to open this up.
Yeah.
Then they can do
well, and then like various features like voice chat, because Xbox is hosting their voice chat, PlayStation's hosting their voice chat, PC is not playing Destiny, which is still really weird to me. It's bizarre to me that a first-person shooter is not on PC.
Yeah.
But
it's like a home of first-person shooters.
Yeah. But it's a strange situation, and we'll see what happens on it.
Yeah.
Speaking of strange situations, Mutants in Manhattan, the cel-shaded TMNT, we have a release date for that.
Finally.
And it's not very far away. It's May 24th.
It wasn't surprising when I saw how much they already had of it. It seemed like they were just waiting to coincide as close as possible to the new TMNT movie.
Yeah.
Which I'm excited about. I like the new. You haven't seen the trailer, right? Have you?
No, I saw the trailer. I didn't see the first movie because everybody told me not to.
Oh, it's bad. It's bad. But this movie, if you've seen the recent trailer,
Yes.
I think there's two of them. Okay.
Oh, no, I saw one. It sold me, and
Okay.
and for those of you who don't know, when I decide I'm gonna watch something, I stop watching trailers and reviews and stuff. So
I
I'm
shouldn't
like,
tell you what was in the trailer.
yeah, go ahead.
I mean, you know.
I'll take
TMNT.
for you guys.
Yeah, and it's TMNT. So spoilers. Bebop and Rocksteady.
Right.
And Krang. I don't know. Did you see Krang?
I did not see
Krang is in
Krang.
it.
I don't know how you do real life Krang. That's gonna be weird. It's kind of like if MODOK ever showed up.
Yeah.
In the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
They did it more. It looks a lot more organic. 'Cause you only get to see a flash of it. They're fighting a robot, and then you see like one of them looks kind of closely at, I believe, is what it's his stomach. You can't really see,
Okay.
and you kind of see this kind of liquid, and then you see all of a sudden this kind of brain and an eye pop out. And you're like, I know who that is.
That's cool.
Yeah, immediately you know who that is.
And it, I don't know, with the new TMNT movie and Mutants in Manhattan, it looks like they've embraced the stupid, because it's
supposed to be ridiculous.
Yeah. And that's okay.
Yeah.
So I am looking forward to that, and I'll probably play it.
It's
Platinum is not, like, every game is not a hit, but I feel like they know what they're doing on this one.
I think that it's showing that now studios, movie and game studios have always known this, but movie studios have been playing really safe. Now they realize I can do something ridiculous, and if it's true to the original piece,
if it's well done,
yeah,
and you can be self-aware. That's something.
Sharknado's a great example.
Yeah. And movies that are self-aware, that's not a problem. And I feel like that's something that's only come up in movies, TV, like House of Cards, the fourth wall break where Frank talks to us, and that's I always get excited every time that happens.
Yeah,
but that's something that I don't feel they would have done 10 years ago.
No, they would
not with a serious show, maybe with a comedy or something.
Yeah,
but with a serious drama piece, to have the
protagonist.
Right, but he turns around and exposition.
Yeah.
To have the exposition done from a character's perspective is something they would have been like, yeah, but then nobody's going to take this character seriously. But
which is funny because done Shakespeare for how long?
Right.
Now TV is just catching up to Shakespeare. So we'll get there.
It's about time.
So PlayStation Vue is released nationwide now.
Yes.
Previously it was in Chicago, Dallas, and some other place.
Miami, Los Angeles, New York.
Yeah, those places. It was here, so I have it. I've been watching it and really enjoying it. I can't
even imagine the nightmare must have been to negotiate with all these different local channels, though. And there have been a lot of people in the comments every time. It's like, why is this not everywhere? And it's like, well, because lawyers.
Yes.
And
exactly what it is. It's like states' rights versus blah blah blah. There's different laws in every state and also different jurisdictions. So it is nationwide now, and that coupled with the fact that ABC is now on there, I'm really happy about that, because that's one of the things people were worried about. They were saying, okay, well, I'll only get this many channels and we're not getting ABC and some others just because Disney.
My dad is actually, like, he's a really big sports guy.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Dad, bet you're not watching. But like he's been asking me for a while, like he doesn't want to pay for cable, and no, because nobody wants to pay for cable. But he wants, like, they've moved away from a local thing where, like, I think all of the Stars games last year were on Fox Sports Southwest. So you would have to pay like at least $70-$80 a month
to get the package
to get this one thing you want to watch, and that's the problem with cable.
Yeah. You can't go a la carte. If you go a la carte, it'd be great.
And
say, I want this.
Sports in particular gets really, really tricky.
Yeah.
But this is going to include a couple of ESPN stations and 2 Fox Sports Southwest things. This might be a thing that he does.
Yeah.
And you don't. It's a lot easier if you have PlayStation, but you can also run it through Roku, Apple, or Chromecast.
I think you run through Apple. That's cool.
I could be wrong. I will check that, and if I'm wrong, Patrick will put in big bold letters right here. Kevin was wrong.
Yeah, I will. No, I mean, I like that they're putting it on other. You can, do it on a Chromecast or whatever. Let's say I'm taking a trip to Disney, and if I want to bring a Chromecast with me, then I can stream all of my TV shows as opposed to.
Which is so awesome.
Yeah, because hotels, even the ones I was in Manila last year, and they had like 80 channels, and 2 of them were something that I wanted to watch. So depending on where you are, it's really cool. Hopefully they don't block hopefully the firewall doesn't block my Wi-Fi to go to PlayStation Network, because the PlayStation View goes over the same PlayStation Network ports and IPs.
Oh, yeah?
So it looks like you're trying to play your PlayStation.
Huh. Yeah, there's also another weird thing with Chromecast, because I was trying to get the Sherlock Christmas thing.
Yeah.
And whenever it was fine I was able to do the hola thing and be like, I'm British, eh? And yeah, but when I tried to send it to Chromecast, it was like, you're not British.
What if you're British and you just happen to be visiting here?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a new world. So Automatron's coming out on the 22nd.
Right.
Which is today.
Yes.
Fantastic. Have you been following this one?
A little bit. I know that it looks more story than I think it. It seemed.
Yeah.
Because it's at first it was like, hey, you can build robots and stuff, but like apparently there's a villain and he's building bigger, badder robots.
Yeah.
And sending them at you.
Yeah, because I thought it was all just like, here's a bunch of assets, right?
Yeah.
Here's a bunch of assets, build your robots, do your things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so that's cool they're adding. I mean, it's obviously they have a little bit there.
Right. But it's not going to be story at the level of the Harbor one.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm really looking to.
Yeah.
But building your own robots, cool.
I like robots.
Yeah.
Robots are fun.
And I like to have my robot scale things.
Some more defense for your Fallout.
Indeed.
Fun stuff. Oddworld is getting a new release, or not a new release, but a new game in their franchise.
Yeah.
A new version, Soulstorm, which is essentially its Exodus redone,
Right.
which I'm completely fine with.
The weird thing for me on this is that they said, hey, it's coming in the second half of 2017. I'm like, okay, so you're announcing a redo of an old game a year and a half in advance?
Bad idea.
Why?
Except for Final Fantasy. But I don't think Oddworld has I know Oddworld doesn't have the built-in fan base that Final Fantasy does. You could say Final Fantasy is going to be releasing in 7 years, and people will flip out. They could have done that. They could have done that and said Final Fantasy VII's remake.
No. Because Final Fantasy is always within the next year. They always say next year you will get to be excited.
They'll say that.
Yeah. It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But
what I mean is that the player built-in fan base and the fandom and the it's so built into Final Fantasy 7 and 8 and 6. If they said there's going to be a completely redone 3D next-gen remake of Final Fantasy 6 and it'll be out in 6 years,
I would still be nervous.
You'd be nervous. But you'd be looking forward to it. What I'm gonna buy it.
I'm gonna play it.
But what I'm
gonna yell on my podcast about it.
But what I mean is there's a big enough fan base and we love those games that much. That's the reason the Zelda game that we've been talking about forever, we're still talking about. And they'll show a new screenshot and people freak out.
Zelda is another one that constantly delays.
Yeah.
I actually read something. I'm still trying to verify this, so I'm not going to say this with 100% certainty, but they were saying that every Zelda release ever on a console has been delayed. And I believe it because like there's so much stuff like
at least since Majora's.
Yeah,
I mean, definitely. Yeah.
And I know Ocarina did. I know Twilight Princess did.
Yeah.
Don't remember about and
see. I don't know about the early ones.
Yeah, it's going to be harder to go back further and look at those.
Yeah.
Because internet.
Yeah, but Oddworld is a really fun franchise. I think it's really.
I found out I do have one.
Oh, you do? Which one?
I don't know.
Okay.
It was in there somewhere. I was looking through my Vita list. I've never played it.
So, in my opinion, the one that just does not live up at all is when they try to transition into 3D. And
there were a lot of 3D deaths. May they rest in peace.
Yes, it wasn't bad. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't bad compared to a lot. If you look at in the time frame, it wasn't that bad.
Right.
But the best ones were like the 2D, like Abe's Odyssey on PlayStation. It's 2D. It's quirky. You essentially, I mean, your guy is completely weak and everything, but you're saving people, and you know, it's fun, and it is like kind of quirky in its weirdness, and you have the weird, you know, oh, they're eating us. That's what is going on, and it's like this other alien race is like working these people to death, and they're also eating them, and you're trying to get all your people out. And it's as dark as that sounds. It's funny, and they make weird noises. I like this franchise. I think it's one that needs more love. It's gonna get it, I guess, in a year and a half.
So we talked last week, a couple weeks ago. Anyway, Capcom knocked down one of the top ranked players in Street Fighter V, World_Combo, and they were like, dude, you're doing a bunch of rage quitting. Stop that. And so they knocked him down from like 9,000 to 900 score. Yeah. He's back in the top 25, which means that he is as good as he was supposed to be. Yeah. He was just like, but I could be, get a couple. Yeah.
Well, the other thing is, I guess I haven't looked a lot into the story. This was one that people basically said this guy's rage quitting. Right?
Right.
Okay. Because if one thing that I like about Rocket League and some others, like I was playing last night, played for a little bit, and Whitney needed some help, so I hit options, leave match.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't hurt me.
Yeah.
Right. And I like that because I didn't leave because it was rage quitting. I left because I have a life.
Well, and the in Rocket League you can with your team you can vote to forfeit if you're getting beat 7-8 to nothing.
Yeah. But it doesn't hurt your score. I mean, it doesn't hurt your ranking.
Really?
In doing that, right?
I don't know because they're not showing us the ranking.
I thought it didn't. It I guess maybe it doesn't show. I know in Battlefront it doesn't hurt you if you leave or if you lose. Yeah. You basically get a participation award,
mm-hmm.
and then you get an award for the good things you do.
Okay.
But if let's say you get 1 kill and 25 deaths, right? You'll get points for your kill.
Yeah.
And you won't get penalized for the 20, which I think is good.
Yeah.
So I'm glad at least that
basically the idea is the better you are, the more quickly you'll gain these points anyway.
Sure.
And I can appreciate
especially
that.
Early on in the early adoption area.
But the difference being that with a fighting game, it is a one-on-one. You're not going like because you can be the best player in the world, and if the entire rest of your team sucks on Battlefront, you still probably might not win. But like fighting games are you versus this person, and then fight it out, and you're done.
Yeah.
And so, I feel like that's a much easier system to just kind of be wins versus losses.
Yes.
So it makes sense that those would need to have penalties.
Yeah, I would agree.
So.
As opposed to games like Hearthstone and all that. We could go on and on about this, but like Hearthstone, if you concede, if you lose connection, right? So if you lose connection, I'm doing this because I play on my phone so much. If you lose connection, if something happens and you have to leave the match, you either stop playing, seed, whatever it is, you lost the match, which I think is fair, except for when you go into matches like Rocket League. Okay, it's a 5-minute bit. Hearthstone should be a few minutes per game. But I went into one recently where, you guys who play Hearthstone know what I'm talking about. So if you run out of cards, you lose health. It's Magic Gathering. If it says you draw a card and you don't have a card, you lost it. But in this game, you lose health.
I like the decks that just burn through.
Yeah, it's a mill deck. Yeah, this one they weren't playing that style. I was playing against a priest. I was playing a warrior. So he's healing himself, and I'm creating armor. So we're both making it harder for the other person to get us down further. I was at 30 health and 12 armor.
Right.
And I just happened to I ran out of cards. The game went on so long, I ran out of cards. Legitimately, I didn't have a huge deck that drew me a bunch of cards. I had a couple draws. They weren't making me draw cards, which some people do in the game, and I lost. Horrible. I still lost. So the game went on for like 20 minutes because I then had to go play out every turn, top decking, nothing. Top deck, nothing. I had nothing to play except for what was in my hand. I had 4 cards in my hand.
So bizarre.
So then, and you lose. I think the first time you can't draw, you lose 2 health. Second time it's 4. Next time it's 8, and you're not. Yeah.
Star Fox Zero. They've said that there's going to be like kind of a beginner's no problem. You can win this game mode where there's an invincible.
I don't like this.
Okay. You go ahead.
So, I think that games need to have a balance to make sure they can be easy enough or hard enough, depending on who the player is. Especially for games that are appealing towards children. Perfect case in point is Minecraft. So Minecraft, you can play on very easy. You can play it on peaceful, where nothing attacks you ever.
Mm-hmm.
You can play it on normal. You can play it survival means that there are enemies. You can play it on creative when there's no enemies unless you spawn the enemy.
Okay.
And I was looking at a recent thing. Majority of people who are playing under the age of 12 almost exclusively play on creative, or they play on survival with peaceful. So they don't have to fight anything, they don't have to die. And Minecraft lets you put in cheats. You just turn on cheats and then just select whatever cheat you want.
Right.
So you have a generation of people, and Minecraft is this generation's Mario. So many people play Minecraft.
Yeah.
That so many kids play Minecraft that you walk in. I hung out with my nephew at his school. I went and had lunch with him at his school, and the 3 kids eating with us, me, my nephew, and the 3 kids, they brought up Minecraft. I started talking Minecraft with them, and I was the coolest guy ever. But I was the cool kid at the table. So you have a generation of kids that are growing up, and what they're learning is you can play this game and you can create all this stuff, and that monster's there, haha, he's funny. And so when they play on survival, and I know this from experience, play on survival, they freak out. They can't handle anything at all. They die and they just get mad and they rage.
Okay.
And I think that kids need to understand, okay, you didn't win or you died or whatever. This is how you get better. Okay. Now, there's a balance to that. It doesn't have to be ridiculously hard, but for instance, your girls play Sonic, right? Mm-hmm. So they realize, you hit those spikes.
Yeah.
And you lost your rings, so you gotta be careful.
Yeah.
And that's how it should be. They need to understand. Video games teach so much in regards to how everything in life works. Like, okay, if you do something you're not supposed to do, you're gonna get penalized. That's what I think.
Okay. Counterpoint. Okay, so my girls are playing Bastion right now, which is a really awesome game, really fun, and there is when you first start a game, you can start on what they call no sweat mode.
Okay.
Which means that when you die, typically when you die, you get 3 lives to go through each scenario. And this is like, you died, here's another life.
Okay.
You died, here's another life.
Sure.
And this is kind of the same thing. But they know they're not really playing. Like they're able to go through the story, they're able to experience this thing even though they don't necessarily have the skills. But they know they're not playing the real game.
But are they dying and they have to replay it?
When they die, it just
right?
drops another guy in the game.
Okay. But do they know? Do they know that they're not playing the real game because you told them?
Yeah. Okay.
You flip on invincible mode. It's essentially like the Persona thing we were talking about recently, where it's like you can let the computer play for you. Well, if you go through it in a game completely invincible and you can try as much as you want, you can get hit as much as you want, and you just drop right there, then you can just plow through whatever you want and then just hear the story.
Okay. And that's an option. That is a legitimate option. This is not the default.
Yeah.
The when you start a game, you have to select. Okay, I don't really want or need a challenge.
Sure, but is that in the options of like easy, normal, and hard? I mean, is it going to be in that kind of option where it's like easy, medium, hard, and then if you go all the way to the other side, it's fun.
I would guess, but I mean, this is not how the game's going to start, and you're going to have to deliberately select. Okay, I want to play this.
Yeah.
We talk a lot about how games can be open to everyone.
Yes.
And there are designers, there are games who teach via their game the whole element on working out level 1-1 in Super Mario Bros. How that teaches you everything you need to know via gameplay.
Conveyance.
Yeah,
it's great.
And that's fine. But like, my girls would not be able to beat Star Fox. I don't care how much conveyance you have in it. Well, they're not going to be able to beat Star Fox.
Well, yeah, but they're also not going to be able to beat Dark Souls.
Right.
Because they have to get better to the point where they not only are better gamers, more mature.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean mature in regards to the subject matter.
No, I just mean mature as far as gaming mechanics and being able to handle these situations. Okay. Nintendo is not necessarily reaching out for those people.
Yeah.
Nintendo is supposed to be and has been for a long time the ubiquitous. I mean, Wii Sports.
Yeah.
There was difficulties in those, but like there weren't penalties. It was just something fun that you could sit down and play, whatever your skill of.
Yeah.
And this is something
you could lose.
Your game is still going to really
in Wii Sports.
Really?
Heck yeah.
Where do you show me a game over screen in Wii Sports? There's not.
It's not a game over screen, but you can lose tennis. You can lose whatever game you're playing.
Okay.
Either against the computer or against another player. You'll still lose. And it doesn't say you suck or anything, but it says, hey, this person won, and the other person's like,
all right.
That happens.
Okay.
And they have to learn. Okay, you have to get better.
Yes. My thing is, people there will be people who will say, hey, I want to play Invincible mode.
Yeah.
Cool. Let them. I'm not going to. You're not going to. Most of the people watching this are not going to play Invincible mode. This mode is not for us. But if they're playing this, that doesn't affect us.
It doesn't affect us. I agree with that.
So there's another option.
Yeah.
There's this whole new audience that will be able to go through, and they will know. When we talk about how bad Slippy sucks,
they'll understand.
They're going to that joke will resonate with more people.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
I win.
So speaking of online stuff and levels, playing things. So Mario Maker levels keep being deleted.
Yeah, they keep disappearing from the servers, and Nintendo originally said that. When this game came out, they were like, hey, we're going to drop off some of the less popular games. If nobody's playing your game, nobody's starring your game, whatever, then, they're going to get taken down from the server, which, to me, I would think, okay, if if nobody's played this level in 2 weeks, then drop it. But the thing is, somebody, this is anecdotal, and I wasn't able to confirm it, but Kotaku's usually pretty good about this. They said that a level was deleted within 2 hours of creation, and you can't resubmit them without building them from scratch.
Yeah.
You can't even like fix a level.
See, I don't like
and then upload it.
I don't like that. You have formats like YouTube and others where you have a sea of creators.
Mm-hmm.
And with Mario Maker, you have a sea of creators.
Yeah.
And if you upload your level and, you know, it just kind of gets lost in the mix a little bit.
Which is
very
really possible.
Yeah.
Because and the levels that rise to the top in Mario Maker are not necessarily the best ones.
Yes.
There's the auto runners and the music levels and the levels crying for attention.
Yes.
Please like me and star me and I'll come play your level or whatever. Like,
it's a bunch of children.
yeah.
And instead of having an organic growth where people like, and it's what I thought was actually going to happen at first when they're like, oh, you can start favoriting your specific creators. Let's follow this person. Let's follow this person.
Yeah.
I want to play this person's
Well,
level.
and that actually brings up a really what I think is probably a really common thing is like if I play a level that's really good, a lot of times I'll favorite that level and then I'll go back and look for their other courses.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's great.
But in this situation, the way that they're doing it, if that happens, there's a good chance that some of their levels will not be able to be played, and I wouldn't be able to see them. Or like if somebody gets popular because of an amazing level that they built, but they built, 2 or 3 pretty good ones that people might want to play, and those might become classics too. Or they take the things that they learned with their most recent level and they apply it to previous iterations. Like there are multiple situations in which levels would become popular later, and Nintendo not only are they deleting the levels and having this arbitrary system, they won't talk about it.
Yeah.
And that is not acceptable.
I agree.
So, yeah. There's also a thing they changed the hit blocks on the P thing so you can't bounce off of it. I don't like that.
What hit?
The P block, like if you put it on spikes, you would, like for some of the harder levels, they would have it where you could bounce off of it on spikes across the thing.
Yes.
New levels starting now
won't be able to do that. I don't like that.
No, and
then you have to know when was this created. Yeah.
Yep. And they didn't make it retroactive, so levels created for will not have it, but
some of them are dependent on
and they still don't. They're not releasing patch notes.
Yeah.
They're changing things and they're making announcements when they're like, hey, paint things and keys and doors and stuff. They'll announce the big things, but they're making these subtle nuanced changes in the background, and we have to find out about it from a website that's not Nintendo.
So the majority of people aren't going to know it.
Yeah.
And you change something big like that, no one's going to be able to figure it out.
There are some things, like I have applauded them for continuing to support Mario Maker and introducing new things. The support that they're still pushing out for Splatoon is awesome. They keep doing levels, and even after they said, hey, this is the last level set, they've put a couple new items, a couple of new outfits, whatever. They continue to support them, but you have to talk about it.
Yeah.
You have to be open to the community, and you have to be willing to accept feedback. This is something that's been going on. We've been talking about it. Kotaku's been talking about it. I think Polygon also did a feature on it. This doesn't work, and Nintendo has to come out and say, this is why we're doing what we're doing. This is what we're doing, and tell us what's going on, because otherwise you're not respecting it.
Exactly.
That's not acceptable.
Communication.
It's important.
Vita in the U.S. apparently isn't good.
I am Setsuna.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, I'm really bummed about this, and the thing that's really upsetting is they're bringing it to PS4 Europe and the US. So it's been localized, and they brought it to Vita in Japan. So all they need to do is put the localization work from one into the other, but they've said, we don't really care that much. And like the work has been done. I will pay for that guy's salary for I'm not a programmer, but this work has been done. All that needs to happen is for somebody to take the localization work from one, put it into the other version, and you're done. There's not voices, it's text-based. Why is this not coming to my Vita?
I think that to have someone do it wouldn't cost that much.
Yeah.
And it's going to take just a couple of people.
Yeah.
And I think that they're looking at the Vita market and saying not very many people play it, and I don't think it's great.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you did that with the Wii U wouldn't be selling anything right now. Nothing would come here. People still have them.
Yeah.
But yeah. I think it's sad, and it's almost disrespectful for people who have your product, who have that product.
Yeah. And I tweeted at Square like I do on a fairly regular basis to say stop it. But yeah, I tweeted at them and I was like, I don't play RPGs on my PS4.
Yeah.
Like I don't have that time to devote there.
Mm-hmm.
On my Vita, I do.
Yeah.
That's with me everywhere.
Yeah.
And if I'm gonna put 40-60 hours into a game,
usually it's on Vita for you.
Yeah. Or if I'm sitting there, if I am at home, like Daredevil, I was grinding last night in an RPG, and because that's what I do.
Yeah.
And that's what this system is for.
Mm-hmm.
And just let me play on it.
Yeah.
And I don't get it.
I've been playing Hitman Go on it.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
I can play it on my PS4, but I love I'll put something on and I'll play some in the background or listen to some news or something while I'm playing.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Yeah. That's the whole point of that.
And the other thing is the purchase rate for games on Vita is double what it is on PS4.
So you mean for owners of the PS Vita?
For owners of the PS Vita, on average, they buy
4 games,
double the number of games that PlayStation 4 users do. And I believe it, because I buy a ton of stuff on my Vita because I can always convince myself, yeah, I'll play that.
Yeah, especially when it's only a couple bucks.
Yeah. I apologize, but if you're following us on Twitter or Facebook, then you already know about this. Flow right now is like $1.50 or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, I will buy that.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I'm going to download it. It's that game company, so and I love them.
Yeah.
So I'll probably put it on there. But like,
it'll probably definitely worth
just to
that
throw a couple bucks at various developers. Yeah, I will absolutely do that. And for a Square Enix Chrono Trigger inspired RPG, yeah, that will get paid for and installed. I will, but not right now. Not as it stands right now, because I can't commit to 60 hours on, because I just now beat Fallout. I'm out in November, 4 months ago, and I've got Dark Souls 3 coming right up. Those that's where my time goes on PS4. And obviously Rocket League. Yeah. But yeah, so for me to make more purchases, give me your games. I'll buy it. and volume and Axiom Verge. I bought, did not play until they came to the Vita. Yeah. But I bought them because they said they were going to bring them to the Vita, and I'm supporting the developers that are supporting my Vita, that is supporting my habit.
Yes.
That's
how it should be. Yeah. That's how it should be, yeah. Voting with your wallet. That's how we do it.
I'm going to keep doing that, and I will vote by not spending money on I Am Setsuna.
Yeah. Not until it comes to Vita.
Please.
PlayStation VR is coming out in October.
Yes.
And they've announced the price.
For $400 with an asterisk.
Yeah. Because it doesn't come with the controllers.
The Move controllers.
Yep.
And it doesn't come with the PlayStation camera, which I'm cool with, because I already have a PlayStation camera, and I don't want you to do that.
Yeah.
They are also releasing a $500 version that does come with that stuff.
Yeah.
That's the only one you can pre-order right now. Fun fact. So the
I don't have the controllers, but at the same time, do the PS3 move controllers work with the PS4?
light bars?
Yeah.
Well, the light bar on the PS4 controller is the same as a move. So as long as you're not doing two-handed things, you can use the PS4 controller as one move.
But if you need two,
right?
Okay. So depending on the game.
Yeah.
Now, do the PS3 moves controllers work?
Well, yeah, it's the same ones.
So people
I'm looking on Craigslist. I'm looking on eBay.
Go over to Movie Trading Company. They have like 7 or 8 of them. Yeah. So Movie Trading Company had like 7 or 8 of them last time I was there.
Go to your local one, and if I haven't already bought 2, because they're like $40 new.
Yeah, and I think they were selling them for like $12. Yeah. So there you go. Grab those, because that's what I'm planning on doing. I have the PlayStation camera, so I don't know when I'll get the PlayStation VR, or if I'll get this version, because that's going to come out right about the same time as because we predict the NX is coming out.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, my money's going to go to the NX for that, but
I'm hoping
I'll future-proof
I'm hoping to be able to get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see how that goes, and there's a bunch of different ones, but this is literally half the price of some of the competitors. So
it is. It's a little bit more than we predicted,
and it has the install base.
Yeah,
like
it's a huge install base.
Yeah, so
the biggest install base for a console, current gen console.
Yeah. Well, and on top of that, like the cost of entry, because you need to have certain specs on your machine. I think that this one could be at least as successful as the competitors, maybe more so. And we'll have to see how that goes. But they sold out of the pre-order numbers, and we'll see.
One thing that keeps me that makes me feel confident if I do buy the product, and we'd like to share this with you because of this, is that Sony's basically said, if your game drops below 60 frames per second, we are not allowing it. We're not certifying it. It's not going to be on here.
Yeah,
I love that. They're saying, in this day and age, your game shouldn't drop.
Well, not only that, but if your game drops below 60 frames per second and you're playing a regular game, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
You could become violently sick.
Yes.
If the game starts to scratch and tear and do whatever.
Yes.
Like you can,
because it's the difference. So when that happens on a regular game, your eyes are focusing in here on the screen, but everything else is around you. When everything starts going screwy like that, you get ill.
Yeah. And so the 3 options is they have the 60 frames per second, 90, and then all the way up to 120 hertz. So we'll see how that goes. But like they were like, okay, less than this is not acceptable, and so be careful with that.
Yeah.
And so already, before it's even released, they're saying, we know that our hardware is not as powerful as the others.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you can release subpar games on our system. And so they are making sure, they want to make sure that everybody has a positive experience. And they're moving forward.
Yeah, which is great.
Yes, I want gatekeepers on that. Because,
yeah. One thing I do want to add on, because we're talking about frames per second, I like that frames per second for first-person shooters and for VR, it's very important. People don't realize movies are 24 frames per second. And a lot of people some people don't realize that, so they're like, they're watching something and they're thinking, well, it's dropping below this, it's dropping below that. If you want a cinematic experience, it's supposed to be 24 frames per second. And there are some games that there was a game last year that they were like, well, we want it to be locked at 24 frames per second. People were like freaking out about it. I'm trying to remember what game. I can't remember what game it was right now, but
well, Gears is going for 30.
Yeah,
Gears is locked at 30.
Yeah.
Like the environments in that, and multiplayer is set at 60, and Yes, multiplayer needs to be at 60
Multiplayer needs to be at 60, yeah.
because that's just whatever. But like, if they lock it at 30, they can. And one of the Gears devs was talking about this. It was last week when they announced the open beta. He was saying when we lock it at 30 instead of 60 frames per second, that means that we can get 2 or 2.5 times as much processing power, and like the environments and the cinematics, the ability to make that twice as pretty and do the cutscenes in engine, no transition, move on. Speaking of cinematic experiences, Gears games are cinematic experiences, and that story for me is as important as the gameplay. The frames per second for me, 30 is perfectly fine because this is the vision. This is the gorgeous giant monsters that you want to show.
Yeah, and at 30 frames per second, this works for third-person shooters. It doesn't work as well with first-person or multiplayer, but with 30 frames per second, the other bit is that not only do you get that smooth transition, so you don't get the weird transition like Final Fantasy VII where you polygonal to nice and smooth cinematics. Cinematics are supposed to look like movies. They're supposed to be cinematic. So if you have a cinematic that's played at 60 frames per second or 120 frames per second, if it's actually that, and if it's pre-rendered, and it's so the term is interpolation if you don't know, where they it fakes the frames between them. Some TVs do this. If you watch, if you watch a pre-rendered cinematic, it's already locked at the frame rate that it should be at. But if it's done in game, in engine, at the frame rate that you're playing at, so if it's 60 frames per second, or if you're one of the elite on PC and you're at 120 or 400, ridiculous, it makes people sick. They actually did a study on this. So
really?
So like the cinematics do not look right, and I'm being a little hyperbolic when I say it's sick. It actually bothers people. It does not look real. If you've watched, if you've gone into a Best Buy or anything, and you've looked at Spider-Man or Jurassic Park, and it's being played on a 240 hertz TV with smoothing on, and it looks like someone filmed it with a camera and put it on PBS. That's the crap you're going to get if you don't watch this. So I'm okay with 30.
And it also, for whatever reason, it for me anyway, it calls attention. And this is going back to the TV thing, not so much on video games, but it calls attention and makes me notice the set. And how the set is not quite real. And I don't know why, because the set's not moving. But for whatever reason, it makes it look
look like a set for you. It's your brain actually does that. There was a I can't remember the guy's name. He's a cinematographer that did a thing recently saying they need to turn off the stuff. The TV manufacturers need to stop doing the smoothing stuff.
Why do they?
It's only good for sports. For sports, it's fantastic because if you're watching football, if you're watching soccer or hockey, it looks like you're sitting right there watching it. That's great. But if you're watching anything else,
sports on 4K,
beautiful.
Damn, it's
beautiful.
pretty.
So if you have 4K and you're at 240 hertz, it looks amazing interpolated. Anytime, so if you're watching on DirecTV or anything like that, they're not sending you 240 frames per second.
Nope.
Your TV's doing that. It makes it look more real. But if you watch a movie that the way the guy described it was it destroys the dreamy feel of movies. When you watch a movie, there's a certain cadence that our brains are used to. And when we watch it, we go, okay, we understand this is film, we understand this is TV, it has a certain feel to it. When you break that, you turn and you add frames that aren't really there, your brain goes, this looks too real, and it doesn't quite fit.
So LEGO Dimensions, they keep on pushing out stuff. They have the big Stay Puft. You can play as the Stay Puft dude. But the cool thing about this particular release is that they've included 20 Midway arcade games in LEGO.
Yeah.
So you can play Joust with little Lego guys,
So cool.
and like it's Midway. Is Midway still around?
No, 2009 actually went defunct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so their properties are up. So maybe Lego got them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know exactly the marketing.
Someone
who
bought up the
owns
IPs. That's basically
Yeah.
what it boils down to.
But basically, it's like 20 classic arcade games.
Yeah.
And it looks pretty cool. It looks pretty fun. And you just go into a little arcade and play Lego games with your Lego person on Lego game. And I think that's cool.
I think it is too. I have Disney Infinity, and I've been telling myself, well, I'm not going to buy both because I'm going to buy one. I'm not going to buy both, but at the same time, so much.
Yeah.
And I have Disney Infinity, and I have a bunch of characters that I bought.
Yeah.
I haven't played it a lot because it's okay.
Yeah.
But the Lego game, I'll play the Lego games like once. Whitney will play the Lego games, so I'm getting it because the gameplay is so good. It's so fun.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I knew going into Disney Infinity. I'm like, okay, I have the game. I really wanted to play.
Yeah.
So with Lego, it's the opposite. It's like I want to play that game. I get a Lego thing as well, but I want to play that game.
The girls are still playing Marvel superheroes, and like they know how to turn the cheats on. Their current multiplier is at like I think it's 480 times.
Oh wow!
And so they're getting close. They're getting me trophies. They don't know, but they're getting me trophies. Well, they know they're getting trophies.
Sure.
I don't know.
They just don't realize that.
They don't realize that it's making me happy every time they do.
Of course.
So yeah, they're doing the work on that for me, and they love to run around the city and they'll be like, I can't figure out how to get into this building, and I'll come over and like. Greg Miller talks about how excited he gets every time he figures out a puzzle, and then he's like, and then I remember that these puzzles are for 5-year-olds. Well, Greg, you don't have to feel bad because 5-year-olds can't figure out these puzzles. Yes. So it's at least you're figuring
they're
out.
They're 8-year-olds.
Yeah, you can figure out puzzles for 8-year-olds.
Yeah.
So
I think that the puzzles they're not geared towards 5-year-olds. They're geared towards I'd say around late elementary school or so.
Yeah. Well, the other thing though is
maybe mid.
The other thing though is that they use a lot of. I think Lego games are excellent as far as the puzzles go at teaching the tropes of video games.
Yeah.
Because like you see a door and there's like this little wire thing that goes up and around. As a game player, I'm like, okay, I follow that, and I need to do something at the other end.
Yeah.
And people who don't necessarily play games would be like, this is closed. Why can't I open it?
Yeah.
And so
even simple things like this is on fire. What do you do with things that are on fire? Put water on it.
Yeah.
Find water. Where's the water? Yeah.
Or turn into an ice character.
That too.
Do that.
Yeah.
Or walk on Captain America's shield, which I still haven't figured out how he moves forward while walking on his shield to get over fire. I don't know. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't have to.
No.
But yeah. So I can't justify the purchase, but I can put it on an Amazon wish list.
Yeah.
So if somebody buys it for me for my birthday or for Christmas, then I can say that it's for me and the girls because we will both play, and you're getting 2 gifts for 1.
You do. The girls will love it.
Then so they do so much, and
they go get that from
them. But yeah,
it's hard to justify that because it's just like Disney Infinity. You're buying a set. If you want to play the Doctor Who game, you have to buy Legos for Doctor Who, and they're not $5.
But you get Legos.
You do get Legos out of it.
And
you get to build the Legos.
Yes, and building the Legos is so much fun.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so do you know how long it takes 5-year-olds to build Legos that are designed for 6 and up?
I don't know what hours.
We sat there and we did Rapunzel's Tower, which is like a 3-level thing.
Yeah.
And I timed it. It took us 4.5 hours to build that. But they had fun, and I learned patience because I'm like, I know where that piece goes. I could probably build it in about 45 minutes or so. But like to build that together and Legos, we're gonna have a segment here in a couple of weeks about timelessness in games. Legos are timeless.
Yes, they are.
And I don't care who you are. Legos are cool.
They are.
Build spaceships.
It doesn't matter what age you are. I'll go hang out with my nephew and build Lego stuff. My friend Chris, our friend Chris,
friend of the show.
Captain Redbeard, loves his Legos. Everyone loves Legos. Yeah. If you don't, I don't know any adult that if you put Legos in front of them, and it may need a kid to get them to push them in the right direction. Yeah. But I've watched grandparents who may have not done it on their own, but as soon as Legos are in front of them and people are building, they go. Yeah.
It's a simple concept, and everybody can be creative. I love spaceships. Mm-hmm. My girls love to build robots, and they like to make they're like this, and most of the time it'll be a wall with eyes, because that's their thing. Needs eyes.
Well, yeah.
And I'm trying really hard not to be like, wait, what about locomotion? How does it move? Because those are the things.
Legs.
Yeah, those are the things that go through my mind. It's like, no, we need to have this robot function.
Uh-huh. And they're just like, it moves. And they just push it.
Yep, that moves. But yeah, that's and that for me is the thing about Lego Dimensions. It's like, yeah, there's a video game there, but I want their collection of Legos to build. And this is it's not a whole lot of pieces, but it's more figures, more stories. And so we have the Captain America. It's Captain America, Red Skull, and a henchman, and he's got the big vehicle, and then Captain America has his motorcycle and everything. Yeah. But like the henchman, because he's wearing green, is the stand-in for Bruce Banner, because we have the big giant Hulk thing.
Yeah.
But whenever he's not the Hulk, we need something to be there for the story part. And,
that's awesome.
And yeah, so
you need purple bottoms.
Yeah.
I know you.
Yeah, we need to buy those.
You need to buy those. Go to the Lego store.
Yeah, and just that was exactly what I was thinking. Yeah. And the other deal, the Lego store has that where you can refill the canister. You seen that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
fill the canister, and then
it's like $15 for as much as you can fit into this thing.
Yeah,
and that is so cool.
Well, you can grab specific things that you're wanting that you don't have. Like, so if you like to build stuff straight out of your imagination, you could go, okay, I need this type of work. I need this type. Yeah. So
and they had this giant wall with all these drawers, and Legos are cool. So I'm hoping to get Lego Dimensions within the next year or so, and be able to build that. And if that indeed happens, then I'll tell you all about it.
So Far Cry Primal is getting a no HUD mode, a purist mode, which I like. It reminded me of our discussion on multiplayer with your brother, where we were talking about like you take off the HUD so you can't see that their enemies are over here. And I really like that. I know it'll still have the sense where you can sense the animals and everything, but taking out the arrow count and all that. So I guess you'll only see that if you hit the options or start button or whatever.
Well, I really like it too, because Infamous and Last of Us had something like this where they're like, hey, this is photo mode where you can take pictures. Some of the images that came out were astounding.
Yeah.
And I really like that idea with Far Cry Primal, because it's a really pretty game. It's all about nature, and so I think this is really cool, and I'm looking forward to seeing what people do, because as much fun as it is to hear about a new thing that a developer is letting people do, when the community takes a hold of it and does something that I wouldn't have thought of, that's cool. That's the really exciting part.
Yeah,
I'll play that game someday.
Oh.
Yay!
So Obsidian announced Tyranny. Tyranny. I say Tyranny. No, I don't.
No. There is a tyrant.
I don't know why I said that.
It's tyrant, but it's tyranny.
I know.
So Obsidian is the ones that did the Pillars of Eternity.
Yes.
The re-up of
Diablo.
and Baldur's and
Baldur's, the isometric loot, dungeon crawling stuff.
So I'm hoping this one comes to console, because you guys know I don't really play on PC.
Yeah.
But the story sounds like a horror, because they're talking about like fate I think Fate Weavers was the homeowner. They're calling them something else. But anyway, so the story and the world that they're building sounds a lot like them. I'm hoping that that's the case, because I don't know if I'm ever going to see that game again.
I really wish we would. It sounds like we're not going to get it.
Yeah, like that. I think that IP is just kind of not available anymore. But
so go for Tyranny.
Yeah,
if you like the Kingdom.
Right, in a couple of years, and I'm fine with them announcing. Like, for me, people that are making games that are meant to evoke feelings of previous games, I like it when those get announced early, because that's something that it's an inclusion of the community, and the communities on that games are like, ooh, I really liked this aspect, and if they're doing that early enough, they can work that into the game. Yeah. And so I feel like that's what they're doing here. So we'll see if that comes to console, and if not, whatever. But if it does, it does.
I think that more indie games are coming to consoles because, like you said earlier in the episode, the architecture is so much easier to build for now. Yeah. That I'm hoping that it'll come to console. It's a lot easier. So do it. Again, we get this kind of we don't get a full-on press release. We got a tweet from Major Nelson saying, "Here's your backwards compatible games that we just came out with."
Here's a link to all the backwards compatible games.
Yeah, the big ones being Alan Wake and Castlevania Symphony of the Night and Pac-Man.
The 360. What was the 360 one? Was it the Galaxy DX whatever one?
I had no intent and no draw to play that.
Yeah.
But those are the big ones. Alan Wake. So that's another one that I absolutely love for a lot of reasons. If you guys haven't played it, pick it up. You should go on Xbox 360. Buy it for the 360. Play it on your Xbox One. Very enjoyable. DLC I haven't played yet.
Still don't see why they don't just let you buy it.
Why you don't let you buy
on the Xbox One?
Yeah, you have to go. You have to go on the PC.
It has to be on your account before you can download it.
So you have to use your PC or Mac or whatever.
Yeah, I know the process. I don't get it.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
They should have a separate section. Yeah, they should have a separate section.
Fix it.
Yeah, separate sections called backwards games.
Yeah, and why not?
Yeah, it'll be fun. Easy. My Nintendo rewards were announced with scheme-free game downloads.
There's a couple of games that are coming out that, one of them, there's a WarioWare game that you can't actually buy with money. It's like an exclusive to this, and so when you're playing Miitomo, which came out in Japan, and that's part of the reason that all this has been laid out.
Yeah.
But you get platinum points and gold points. You get, I might get this wrong, you get platinum points for buying games, and you get gold points for stuff that you do in game.
Okay.
And then there's two different columns of things that you can buy, and some of it's going to be outfits and whatever.
So you buy enough games that you can then buy the game with points.
Right. So it's not dissimilar to the rewards before.
Yeah.
And if you keep buying Nintendo games, you get more Nintendo games. Yeah. So I think that's a good system. You don't have to reward me with free games for doing things in a game. That's cool. Yeah. But it seems to me like this is going to be a lot more opaque system, because these rewards are just going up. You don't have to save reward points just in case they maybe do something you want to do. Because that was one of the big problems with the Nintendo rewards before. It's like you would just save them up because you never knew what they were going to offer, and some of them would be like, you need 5,000 points to get this once in a lifetime thing that we're never going to offer again. Yeah, and it seems like at this point that the rewards is just going to be a system that just goes up. It's not complicated. Here's what you can buy. We will add more stuff later. And I think that's what it means. What you're mentioning earlier is the actual way that they put it is that it is a scheme-free thing.
Yeah.
And that's really weird wording. Yeah. I don't know why you would say that, but that's what I think that means.
Yeah.
And just as a heads up, you can if you change your iTunes settings to Japan, then you can grab it. and changed the language to English, and you can play Meet Someone now. We're supposed to be getting it this month. And then on Android's so easy. You just sideload, grab the APK, and put it up. So that's available. It's open in Japan now. It's supposed to be coming over here next month, I think. And so yeah, and I like this. I like this reward system better. Like I said, because of the way that they're being open with it, and they're just saying, hey, here's the stuff that we're offering, and you don't have to guess.
Yeah.
So Below is coming to PC as well as to Xbox One. That was one of the ones that they highlighted. It's by Cappy, and I like them. So not really a whole lot of news there other than the fact that it's coming out. But it is coming to Steam, and they're not trying to cordon it off into the Windows market, which is good because I don't like when they do that. But if you haven't played a Cap game before, this will probably be a fun one. It's a dungeon crawler, and we'll see how that goes. Not much news other than that it's coming to the PCs.
Dungeon crawlers are always fun. So crawl in the dungeon.
They're not always fun.
No, they're not.
They're sometimes fun. And I like their sense of humor.
Yeah, it always catches my attention.
I think this one will be fun. Yeah. We can say that. We think that this one will be fun.
We can say that confidently. So Rhyme's developers taken the rights back for their IP from Sony.
Yes.
Which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, that game, it looked like a mix of like Ico and Zelda kind of mashed together, because the artwork looked very similar to Ico, and it's going to be the exploration, and you're by yourself and doing things. But that game was announced back in February of the year, when they were like, hey, here's PlayStation 4. Here it is. Here's one of the games that's coming out for
Rhyme. Yep. And it's been years.
Yeah, and we still haven't seen it, and I think that Sony has, because the official word is Tequila Works has taken back their IP, and now we're doing it. I think it's entirely possible that Sony went, look, you've been doing this game. Yeah. We don't have a game yet.
Yeah, I think that's more likely what happened, because when you have a smaller company saying, I'm taking it back, usually the larger company's going to go, no. We have contracts.
Yeah. So in theory, this can come to other consoles and platforms and various other places. So, hopefully that'll be able to be experienced by more people.
For all you people still playing Star Wars Battlefront, or if you haven't and you haven't been playing in a while, today, the day of this episode is airing, the Outer Rim expansion DLC stuff is out.
So, if you have a season pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is weird. I don't know. I'm not going to rant about
season
it.
Pass some people early, I guess. So grab a season pass and grab it, because I guess you should be able. It should be retro on that. I've been playing a little bit more Battlefront to kind of get back into it, and I'm hopeful on this, because one of my favorite things on Star Wars is the more like seedy underbelly of like everything that goes on. So the huts and which is the reason that we were so excited about 1313. Was it was not about the Jedi and the really pretty super high-end version of Coruscant up here, when we know that there's Coruscant down here. That's what
where they sell death sticks.
Yeah. Who wouldn't want to buy death sticks?
I don't want to buy death sticks. So I'm not opposed to open experiences, but death sticks, that's a terrible market.
It's a little overt in what it's going to do eventually.
Yeah.
But so this is what we talked about before, where you're going to be able to play as Greedo and Yen Nub and do all that kind of stuff. And also they've announced that spectator mode is going to be on there.
Yes.
So kind of similar to what we talked about Rocket League, and be able to do spectator.
And you can just kind of throw that up. For me, I'm most of, because I do watch some Let's Plays and stuff, like Epic Name Bro, all the stuff he puts out, I watch and listen to, because his commentary is as entertaining as what's happening in the game. I don't even have to watch the game. I just listen to him talk.
Yeah,
I like him. But anyway, this is something that I could feel comfortable just throwing this up on the screen, and you can listen to Stormtroopers and Rebels die. That's cool. And then every once in a while you look over and there's a hero throwing out lightning or whatever.
Well, I would hope that they'd pipe in that at least, that because when you're playing, it'll announce if a hero is on the.
Yeah.
So we've gotten reports that we have sightings of Boba Fett or something. Yeah. So you're like, oh crap, I gotta deal with that now.
And it'll be interesting to see what they do with the camera, because
that's what I'm curious about.
Yeah. They haven't said anything about the camera, how it's gonna work. All they said is, hey, spectator mode is coming. So I'm curious if it'll bounce around to different ones, because like I know like Counter-Strike, after you die, then it rotates between your party and. Are they going to let you see both sides, or?
I wonder if it's something. I would hope you get to see both sides, but I'm hoping that it's not spectator mode, as in like a no-clip zoom around wherever you want, because the battlefields, the battlefronts, the area that you're fighting in is so massive that you're going to miss something that's really cool. What I'm hoping that spectator mode is that it will be capturing areas, and when there's a death or something, then it'll play it. So you may be like 5 seconds behind what's actually happening, which is fine.
I like that.
Yeah.
I think that would be a good idea.
So if that's not what you're doing, do that. Give me a 5 second, 10-second delay. I'm not, if you're watching that, you're going to be able to spectate. You don't have to know.
A 5 or 10-second delay also decreases the possibility, because whenever you introduce something like this, there's always the possibility that somebody's going to try to use that. It's like in like the NFL, they're always trying to see what the other team's doing and stuff. With spectator mode, if say you're playing on PlayStation, you have a party, you have spectator mode watching the other team, telling you what's going on.
And you have it on a TV here while you're playing.
Yeah, and so if you introduce a 5 or 10-second delay, that information becomes much less usable. People who are watching don't care. That doesn't affect the viewing experience, but it decreases the likelihood of cheating.
Exactly. Decreases the likelihood and increases the likelihood of you seeing something really cool happen.
Right. So you can have that one for free, EA. You just have to follow us on Twitter.
Yep. Shadow Complex Remastered is actually coming out to Xbox One.
Yes.
As
of right now.
Right now. So go grab it. So it's coming to Steam and PS4 in May.
Right.
But it's kind of a pretty quick drop of the game. But
they announced it a while ago.
Oh, they did?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We talked about it on episode.
Yeah. That's right. We did talk about it. Yeah.
So yeah, that's coming out, and this I really like it. Properly done dystopia. One of my favorite things. Like the post-apocalyptic does it a lot of times, but like I want my Orwell, I want my BioShock, like the really
properly done.
Yeah. The control, and that was one of the things I really liked about Helldivers, is like, because most of the time when you're watching it, you're watching it from the perspective of someone fighting the system. Helldivers, you were seeing it from inside the system without, like, you have to kind of. It's not difficult, but the perspective was there, and you had to put yourself into the narrative, find it, and I really liked that. And Shadow Complex Remastered, Shadow Complex, from what I understand, is very much that type of thing, but with more of like a 2D, like almost like the way that you fought with Raiden in Metal Gear Solid 2. Yeah. That looks like his style of combat with the flippies and the guns and it looks cool. So I'll probably be picking this up whenever it comes to PS4. If it came to Vita, I would definitely pick it up. Because I buy all my stuff for Vita.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's exciting, and that's coming out, and we're gonna get to play it, because that was a game that was really highly regarded by the people that played it. But it seems like not very many people. Yeah. It's kind of like honestly, how many people played Shadow of the Colossus when it first came out?
Not as many.
But they reintroduced it. They brought it up to PS3. They put it on PlayStation Plus. They pushed this as a game that, hey, this is a game that has influenced a lot of your developers. Like it's been quoted as Miyazaki from the Souls series. It's his favorite game, and it's the one that he thinks about whenever he's creating games.
Wow.
And
I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Because it's a game that doesn't tell you a lot overtly, But when you think it's one of the games that you can think about for a long time, and games that kind of stay with you.
Yeah.
It's a simple universe, but because of the way that it's rolled out, it sticks with you. You apply it to these other situations, and I really like that. So I think that Shadow Complex is going to be.
Yeah. You mentioned Shadow of the Colossus, and actually the first time that I played it was after seeing it. Yeah.
What movie was that?
An Adam Sandler movie. It's playing it, it's projected, and I was like, what is this? And I had no idea what it was. Then I went and played it.
That is crazy.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Thanks, Adam.
One thing I wanted to add here at the kind of the end of the episode.
At the end?
At the end.
How long are we going?
We got another 3 hours.
All right, buckle in, folks.
I thought about adding this, but I didn't. I didn't want to, but then I realized we talked about Xbox and Phil Spencer talking about Xbox being upgradable and then coming out with different versions of Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a rumor of the Sony's PS 4.5. So essentially, upgraded GPU. It'll still be backwards. It'll still play the backwards compatible games and the newer
backwards
games.
Compatible for the current generation.
So the new games will be able to play. New gamers will be able to take advantage of the hardware, but they're not going to. You'd be able to play with your regular PS4 on the game, but the PS 4.5, will be able to be better.
Digital Foundry stock just soaring through the roof.
And it made me kind of wonder if there's a way to do this right. If both these companies are kind of hinting at this being the future, and with Nintendo kind of being the first one to dip their toes in the water with the new 3DS, where you have a new version of the 3DS that has the same title.
Well, the N64 had the expansion pack thing and the Rumble. Like they've worked on different peripherals that actually enhance the system. It's like stuff that you do with the PlayStation Camera or Kinect. Those are unique experiences if you have this hardware. But like you could play Perfect Dark without that, but there were some features that were blocked off, and the game didn't look as good. And I think Dreamcast had some type of weird expansion thing that you plugged into the controller, because that system's weird and fun. But my thing is, I want to be able to. If you have this set up to where I can drop $50 or $100 every year or two and upgrade my system now.
Current system.
But if they're not doing something like this, and Larry Herb was talking about it on his podcast, and he said, we're not going to ship these out with like screwdrivers so you can upgrade the hardware and whatever. And it's like, okay, then what are you doing, and how are you going to make it where you're not punishing the people who went out and bought the system?
It's either has to take advantage of USB, which in the PlayStation case you have 2 USB slots. That, and it's right on the front of the machine. So you're gonna have something that like docks in. And the Xbox, you have a lot more ports in the back, so it could be take advantage of that. But USB's got to be the only way to do it if you're going to add to your existing hardware. If you're not gonna,
one other possibility, I hadn't really thought about this, but what if they had like a trade-in system where you could trade in?
That'd be cool.
Like their customer service lines are going to be blown up because of all the people losing saves and crap. But I mean, if you have Plus, that automatically back. I don't know. It's a complicated situation.
Yeah, with Microsoft, you could go to a Microsoft store. There are some of those. There's one in the Stonebriar Mall. We're around the Frisco area if you're in the DFW area. So they could have that kind of thing where you can physically go in.
Whereas PlayStation people, we have to talk to that one guy who knows a guy.
Yeah.
That's a lot scarier.
But I will say, while they said, we're not going to ship it out with a screwdriver, I upgraded my PS4 hard drive recently. And that was cake. That was so simple. Okay, it required a screwdriver. Woohoo. Okay, I had one. It was very simple to do, and it looked, and they knew that PlayStation, just like PS3, they knew, okay, people were going to want to upgrade these. Here's instructions on the PlayStation site on how to do it. You slide off the panel, you you literally pull the little thing, it comes out all neat, and then you secure your new hard drive into the dock, and you slot into the it's so simple.
It's not a difficult process,
Yes.
and you can trust the people.
No, you can't. No, but the PS4 is ready for that. But the rest of the console,
the rest of it is all locked away.
it's locked away. I mean, you can get into it. You can get into it, but you can scrub stuff. Yeah, unless you know what you're doing. Xbox, you can do the same thing. You can get into it. There's ways to get into it. You're breaking your warranty if you do those things. So I think they're going to have to do it. If they're going to be upgradable, it's going to be USB. And if it's not USB, it's going to have it could be a trading. I don't think they're going to do that though, because you'd have to have a local distributor who's ready to do something like that, unless they have some type of contract with Best Buy or something, with a company that is widespread, GameStop, which I don't think maybe, but I think it's going to be USB, or it's going to be you buy a new console. And if you buy a new console every 5 years, that's better than them saying, here's the 4.5, here's the 4.7, here's the 4. If there's that many iterations of it within a 6 or 7 year period, that's going to be hard to justify. But if this comes out, say, next December, I'm just throwing it out there. It's not a prediction, but if it comes out next December, okay, I might pick it up. Because if I'm picking that up, I'm going to go, okay, I'm future-proofing this, and I'm not going to have to buy another one for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And if that's true, okay. But at the same time, I'm going to have to sell my old one.
Yeah. And we'll see how that all rolls out. And the Xbox One Xbox story is something that Phil Spencer, Larry Herb have actually come out and talked about. The PlayStation 4.5 is still a rumor, but it does kind of make sense, because a lot of times the big companies will do kind of the same thing at the same time.
And that's why I wanted to mention it. It is a rumor, but if you have both big companies talking about this at the same time, it sounds like that's kind of what they're both kind of wanting to go towards.
Yeah.
So let us know in the comments, how often would you buy a new console if it was going to future-proof it? If you were going to get a PS4.2, 4.5, whatever, how often do you think you should get a new?
I would want 4.2. 42.
Yeah.
I like 42.
I said it. Have a good one, guys.
I know you can't see it, but this has been bugging me since the beginning. Like, I knew nobody could see it on the screen. It's like, there's a hair there. Can't pick it up without distracting people. Now I can. It's gone. And I feel much better. Personally. I know. Makes me feel better. What are we even displaying to you? Okay. Little fuzzy furry guy. Definitely not a sex toy. Probably. Not here to judge. Yeah, like, I apologize, because the last couple of times it's happened, I haven't had a chance to do a proper monologue. Didn't bother. But yeah. Didn't even give me any old music. Old. Did your sternum ever pop? I don't know that I've ever talked to anybody else whose sternum pops, but like when I stretch, right here on the left side of my sternum pops. Vaguely unsettling, but like when you're growing up, you kind of accept whatever it is that happens to you as normal. Like, okay, my left eye, terrible vision. My right eye, better than normal. So for a long time, I thought that our left eyes were for color and our right eye was for focus, because nobody ever told me differently. And it's just weird how whatever it is that you experience, until someone tells you otherwise, you think it's normal. Humans are. Yeah, let that be a lesson for you today.